Alrighty, 6th grade mathematicians, here we are taking a look at Chapter 12, Lesson 1. You will need to get your book open to page 863, and we're just going to jump right on in, taking a look at line plots. So make sure that you are set up for success with your book open and your pencil ready, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay. Line plots should not be anything new to you. You would have seen them before, so we are just going to use some prior knowledge that you have, and we're going to practice a quick line plot before we actually look at the data of a line plot. So, first thing here, it says, students in Mr. Cotter's class asked how many after-school activities they have. Their responses are shown below in the table. Okay, so number of activities, you see you have 0, 2, 3, 1, whatever. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just tally and count. So how many zeros do we have? Well, we've got 2 zeros. How many people have one after school activity? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to go ahead and put 6. How many people have 2 after school activities? 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like 4. How many people have 3? 1, 2, 3. And then you have one very busy student that has 4 activities after school. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take those and put those into a line plot. Notice that 0 is marked here and there are 2 marks. What do you think those marks represent? Obviously, they represent the 2 students who said that they have 0 after school activities. So, number 1, how many are we going to put there? We're going to put 6 X's to represent 6 people have 1 after school activity. 2, we're going to put 4. 3, we're going to put 3. And then 1, we're going to put 1. There we go. Okay, that's it. That's a line plot. Now, obviously, we're not going to just construct line plots. We're going to actually look at the data of a line plot. So, what we're going to do is we are going to take a look at various information from the line plot, and we are going to kind of decide something from the line plot, some data, so like the median, the mode, the range. We're going to work on outliers. So basically taking all the stuff that we did in statistics and applying it to a line plot. So basically, when you talk about a line plot, here we go. There we go. When you talk about a line plot, it is a visual display of distribution of data values where each data value is shown as a dot or another mark, usually an X. Okay, these can also be called a dot plot as well. Okay, so line plot or a dot plot. All right, so take a look at this question right here. It says, Jasmine asked her class how many pets they had. The results are in the table below. So here she asked her statistical question of how many pets do you have, and then she just wrote all the numbers down. Okay. Then what she did is she just made a number line. From that number line, what she does is she takes it and puts all of her responses in each one. Now, taking a look at this, we can think a couple of different things. Number one, if we were to count all of these, she would have asked 24 students. So she had 24 students in her class that she asked. Number two, when I look at this, I say that the most people have is 2. Okay, that would be my mode. You can see it stacked up, and that would be my mode. So most of her classmates have 2 pets. Okay, we need to make sure that we include a title. So right here it says number of pets. That's a very important thing. And so just by breaking this down, we already know some of the data without even having to do anything. Okay, so take a look here. It says Javier asked the members of his 4-H club how many projects they were taking. The results are shown in the table. Make a line plot of the data, then describe the data. Well, the first thing you need to do is you need to make sure you have a label on it, okay, a title. So we're going to go ahead and put number of projects so that we have a title on there, okay? The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to make a line plot. We are going to use X's. So it looks like for 0, I have 1. Okay, and then it looks like, I'm going to shift this down just a little bit. Then it looks like for 1, we have 1, 2, 3. So we have 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's take a look at 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's take a look at 3 projects. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then it looks like 4, we have 2. And then 5, we have 1. Okay, so based off of this, we can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 times 3 is 15. 15 people were surveyed or asked. Okay, I'm just going to do ask because it's shorter. I don't have a lot of room. Okay, from that, we had also learned that no one is taking any more than 5 projects. 5 projects is the maximum number. So we could say 5 projects is the max. But then we also notice that there's one person who isn't doing anything, okay? Who's being a lazy log. I don't know if that's true, but I don't know. One person who isn't doing a project, okay? Let's see. It looks like, if I were to look at this data, that most students were doing 2 projects. Most students doing 2 projects, okay? Because that has 5 people in it, okay? So that's true. So that would be our mode, okay? All right, let's take a look at this. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about looking at outliers off of a line plot. Nothing changes. We already know how to do it. We're just going to quickly review it while we go through an example problem. Taking a look at this, though, really quick, you could probably assume what number is the outlier. Okay. You would probably assume, based off of this distribution of this line plot, that 75 would be an outlier. And when you actually do the math, 75 is an outlier. Okay. So based off of that, just something to think about while we work through this problem over here. Okay. Not saying that there's always going to be an outlier. There may or may not be. But we're going to take a look at some of this data. It says the line plot shows the number of magazines each member of the student council sold. Find the median. Okay, so we're going to find the median. Okay, we're going to find the mode. And then we're going to find the range. And then we're going to have to find the outliers, which means I'm going to need to find my Q1, my Q3, and my inner quartile range. Okay, so we just keep this in mind. Okay, so let's take a look at the median. How can we find the median? Well, first of all, use a pencil and mark lightly, because I'm going to be able to erase and you're going to be able to erase as well. So let's find the median, that middle number. So 17, 25, 25, 18, 18, 24. So see how I'm 23, 20, 23, 20, 23, 20. Take a look. I got right here. And so therefore I have 2 20s. Well, remember, if I have 2 numbers that are the same, or 2 numbers that are my median, I'm going to add them together and divide by 2. Well, it's kind of a given when I have 2 numbers that are the same that the median is going to be 20. I'm going to think about it. 20 plus 20 is 40. 40 divided by 2 is 20. So there's really no point of doing it if the number is the same. Okay, so now let's find the mode, the number that occurs the most. That's 20. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut this in half because, again, that's going to help me find my Q1 and my Q3. Okay, so the range, the highest minus the lowest, so I'm going to take 25 minus 17, and when I do 25 minus 17, I get 8. Now let's find the Q1. This is where I kept that line there. Let's find the Q1. So we're going to cut this, cut this, cut this, cut this, cut this, cut this. So it looks like that my Q1 is 20. Okay, and I made a mistake on my paper. I accidentally wrote that down wrong. Hang on. So 20, I don't know what I was doing. Okay, so I'm going to write down 20. Then I'm going to erase over here, and I'm going to go this one, and 25, 23, 25, 23, 24. So here is 23. So now I'm going to find my inner quartile range. Man, I messed that up on my paper. I don't know what numbers I was looking at. I wonder if my numbers are different on my paper, which could be. Okay, so this is easy though. So my inner quartile range is 3. Now remember, what we do is we take that 3 and multiply that by 1.5, which I have to redo because I messed up on my paper. Again, not perfect. 3 times 1.5, which is going to give us 4.5. Okay, for some reason, I had that. Oh, man, I don't know what I did here. Actually, this is good. Okay, so 4.5. I'm going to write it on my book just so that I have it. Okay, so now we're going to take my 20 and we are going to subtract my interquartile range 1, my Q1, okay, and I'm going to subtract 4.5. When I take 20 minus 4.5, I get 15.5. Then I'm going to take my Q3, okay, remember that's my Q1, so I'm going to take my Q3, which is 23. Oops. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, so then I'm going to take 23 plus 4.5. So 23 plus 4.5 equals 27.5. So now taking a look at my spot that it needs to be in between so that I do not have a outlier. It needs to be between 15.5 and 27.5. Okay, so I'm going to fix my book really quick while you just hang on a second. So I have 20 to minus 1.5. I don't know what I did here, but I really messed that up. Okay, all right, so moving on, we're going to take a look at the next page, okay? Taking a look at the next page. We're going to take a look at this problem right here, and we're going to go ahead and do this one together. Taking a look at it, you could probably guess what the outlier is, but we've got to do the math. So the first thing we need to do is we need to find the median. Okay, we need to find the mode. We need to find the Q1. We need to find Q3, we need to find the IQR, and then we'll go from there. So taking a look at the median, so 65, 25, 45, 25, 40, 25, 40, 25, and I get down to 2 30s. Okay, so I'm going to cut that in half, and I know 30 plus 30 is 60, divided by 2 is 30, so there's no point of wasting my time. So now, taking a look at this, again, I cut these in half. This was my middle one, okay? So that's actually my Q2, okay? It's my quartile 2, it's my median. Okay, my mode, the one that occurs the most, is 25, okay? Q1, we're going to go through 1, 1, 1, 1, and my Q1 is 25. Over here, 1, 1, 1, 1, and my Q3 is 40. Again, if you do not feel comfortable with this, you can always write all of your numbers out to help you is one thing to do. So go ahead and do that just in case if you are not feeling comfortable. Again, it's split right down here in the middle. There's my Q1, there's my Q3. Sometimes it's visually easier for you to see it that way. All right, so the IQR. So we're going to go ahead and take the highest minus the lowest. So we're going to go ahead and take 40 minus 25, which is 15. Then we have to take 15 times that 1.5. And when you get 15 times 1.5, you get 22.5. Okay, so now I'm going to take that Q1, so I'm going to take 25 minus 22.5, and that's going to give me 2.5. And then I'm going to go to my Q3, which is 40, and I'm going to add that 22.5, which is going to give me 62.5. So my numbers on here, okay, must fall, in order to not have an outlier, must fall between 2.5 to 62.5. That's quite a range. But look, I have one number that is sticking outside. So my outlier is 65. That was really sloppy. My outlier is 65. All right. You guys have done a great job listening to these examples, seeing my mistakes, see mistakes happen. Again, told you, not always perfect, only most of the time. So you saw the mistake that I made, but that's okay. It happens. We fixed it, and we're moving on. Do whatever it is you need to do next on your agenda or whatever Mrs. Horner tells you to do. Just make sure you are staying on task. You guys got it. Good job.